Welcome into a Friday weekend edition of Philly Voice Sports Bets. I'm Devan Kaney, joined by Harry Mays and Eytan Shander. Welcome in, guys. Excited. I was going to say we have an exciting weekend of sports, but it's really just Phillies coming up again and again against the Nats.
Yeah.
We saw Noah Syndergaard make his debut last night. Phillies did get a win because the game was cut short, I think, in our favor.
Absolutely.
Eytan, I know you talked about some Philly bets, not for last night's game, but the previous game. What are you feeling for the rest of the weekend in terms of Phillies?
So the rain out, it's going to be a lot of rain, as we know the forecast. I think it's like 15 straight days of some sort of precipitation we're expecting here. And the weather, like that's got to impact it, right? And tonight,
I'm pretty sure the weather impacted us in a positive way last night. So
I don't know if the ball's necessarily going to be flying as much. It slows down now on the ground. It's going to be damp. They'll get through games. I don't think there's going to be any rain out situation here, but I'm tempted tonight and even Saturday, Sunday, pending that the weather continues, because the forecasts go as crazy as the variance of our bets. But point being, Devin, is I'm tempted to go under tonight with Gibson and Gray. I think Gray's numbers are rough, but there are K's there. So I'm tempted to go under the total tonight and even tomorrow. I think the Phillies can win and should sweep this series. My goodness.
They better.
Look, I think this is going to be a little more low scoring because of the rain sweeping in and having an impact on that. So I would go, that's me straddling the line, by the way, of talking about a bet and giving a ridiculous weather forecast that I probably just ripped from Sue Serio. So.
Well,
I love it.
I didn't see the game because I'm up in Connecticut. I was watching some baseball last night, but I couldn't get the Phillies game. But you're saying that were it not for a rain out after 5 innings, you think Syndergaard might have spit this game up?
Well, so he allowed 11 hits in those 5 innings. Phillies had 7 hits and still managed to eke out a win.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying it's all Syndergaard's fault. I'm sure he had some first game jitters, what have you. But it's the Nationals.
Yeah.
So a little bit concerning there.
It's the Nationals post Soto, too.
Right.
So it's not like you had the monster just lurking when you think like, okay, I got this team. And it's like, oh, shit, I got Soto there. Like, yeah, he's gone, too.
Oh, this team is dead.
Lifeless.
Absolutely lifeless, yeah.
But no, I think, Devin, you're right for Harry and maybe somebody else who, for whatever reason, I know was driving back to the area. If you missed the game, it was a matter. And look, that's Syndergaard. That's why you get him for cheap. That's why you get him on a downswing, is there hasn't been more of those consistent long outings, and there's going to be a time mid-game in which the wheels are going to come off. So, the weather came, the rain came, it helped. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I will say that thankfully Alec Boehm did have a 3-run homer. Rhys Hoskins contributed as well. Yep. So my best bet for tonight is over 9.5 hits for the Phillies. They had 7 hits last night, and the game was cut short, so pretty easy. Not a super exciting one.
No, but it does. So this is interesting, right? And we'll come back to this one on Monday, because hits translate usually, not all the time in baseball, to scoring chances and runs, right? So while you're not going over the total here, if they go over the hit total, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to have chances to score, right? Scoring chances. So if your bet hits, it's going to be interesting to see if the over hits as well. This would be one hell of a middle, though, I will say, where if the Phillies could go over their hit total and Devin's bet hits and stay under the run total of the game and mine hits, that would be something. So
that would definitely be interesting. Sorry, Harry, go for it.
No, the total's 9, right, on the game, Eytan? Is that the number you're looking at?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yep.
Yeah, I would tend to go under there too. I think this is going to be like a, some kind of like 4-2, 4-3 kind of game, and the Phillies find a way to win. But there's no way I'm laying 200 on the Phillies.
So real quick, Devin, can I ask you?
Yes.
Would you, I see plus 165 no to make the playoffs. So you're laying over 2-1 for the Phillies to make the playoffs. Is there anything at all that you would see where you would say, you know what, I would take that plus money chance of them not winning or not making it?
No, I think they'll make it.
I think they're going to make it.
Yeah.
Okay. No shot to.
I mean, they've survived this far without Harper. It's pretty doggone impressive, I think.
Yeah, like I'm not just saying that because I'm a Phillies fan. Like
right.
I would not bet against them.
Okay. Just curious.
Would you? It seems like you would.
He loves this plus money stuff.
No,
Can't resist.
First off, that's not a necessarily great hold market to bet into, so I wouldn't jump in on that. I was just more curious. I wasn't even Harry's going to always accuse me of fishing, right? Throwing something out there to see if I could get a nibble and then jump and reel it in and be like, yeah, I'm on that.
Oh, you don't throw out a line. You throw out a net.
Well, that's how you catch a shark, all right? You can't catch a shark with a guppy, right? So I'm not fishing. I was just curious to see if there was any interest in it. I told you that it was 2-1, Harry, and that I would be more inclined to just pass on.
Well, they're 2-1 tonight. They're minus 200 tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
they should. With Kyle Gibson and Josiah Gray, they should beat Gray. Right?
We'll see. All right, now I want to jump over to the NFL because I guess it's kind of back. We had the Hall of Fame game last night. If anyone wanted to watch the Raiders, like third string guys playing, but it's never too early to talk NFL futures. I know we talked about it earlier this week. I wanted to bring up, of course, the NFC East odds, because being Eagles fans, I saw a stat on ESPN yesterday where everyone was in favor of the Cowboys winning the division. I obviously disagree with that as an Eagles fan, but given the negative reports we keep hearing coming out of Eagles training camp, and now with these newfound injuries that are apparently coming out, it's kind of hard for me to confidently stick with the Eagles as my favorite to win. Last I checked, their odds were 3-2. Cowboys still have the best odds. So guys, I want to hear your thoughts on who you think is going to win the NFC East, and then also your favorite NFL futures.
Well, I think ESPN is always going to, blow the horn for the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones because it's great copy. It's great stuff for fodder for their daily shows. So I'm not surprised by that. That doesn't influence me. I still think the Eagles have the best team, possibly the best front lines on both offense and defense in the NFL. And I'm riding that, and I will ride that to the division crown.
I like that. We definitely we are solid in the trenches. Yeah. I think I'm getting more and more concerned with the reports I'm hearing about Jalen Hurts and his passing game, and now Devontae Smith apparently with a groin injury already.
Yep. No, that the injury is going to be a concern. And the biggest thing about that, right, is always continuity for younger players who don't have 10 years or even 5 years of playing together. So if it's one guy who's been throwing to another guy and they miss a camp 6 years into it, okay, that's understandable. But AJ Brown's here. There's a new element, and Smith needs to be on the field, much like Hurts needs Smith to be on the field. So that's the biggest concern, I think. And it's out of their control. I get it, the injury factor. And I think there is going to be, and it's on us, right? There's going to be this discernible gray area where it's like, hey, I got to get something out. Let me just put something on Jalen Hurts. I got to fill 500 words in a column versus like, whoa. He's missing guys. Like really not hitting guys. So I think that's enough. Here's the thing though. I got him at even money. I got him at even money, I don't know, a month or so ago to win 10 games. I look at this division. Carson Wentz and Ron Rivera is a terrible combination. The new coach in New York is going to figure out real quick what everybody else does is that Daniel Jones is not a quarterback. He can't play either. Right. That's two teams you've removed essentially from contention where you should get at least a sweep of one, if not both. Dallas is Dallas, but they didn't really do a ton, right, to improve. You could argue that they kind of just stood still.
And they still have Mike McCarthy.
Look, if Hurts doesn't screw up and the defensive coordinator finds a way to just use his talent to pressure the quarterback, I'll take him to win 10 games, which should win the division.
So you're taking the over for the Eagles' regular season wins? Because last I checked, it was 9.5.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. I'm still torn on that one. I flip-flop on that one. I want to say over, but part of me is like, ooh, I don't know.
I get it. And I think internally, you can make an argument. You can make a strong argument that this team is, even with that extra game, 8-9 wins, which should get you to the playoffs as a wild card, get you back. Same thing we saw last year. Carson Wentz, Ron Rivera loses games at home. Forget the spread. Like Carson Wentz is awful more often than not. He can be good. He has flashes, but I don't know. That team, New York, new head coach. Okay. The team sucks for a reason. That's why they have a new head coach.
Well, that Washington team starts with your Jacksonville Jaguars and Dougie P. Now, did last night's Hall of Fame game influence you in any way, shape, or form from your Coach of the Year prognostications?
No way, no.
You didn't move, right, Devan?
No, I love seeing Dougie P back on the sidelines.
Yes.
I can't hate on him, especially in the Hall of Fame game. Couldn't pull anything out of that game.
No, I'm with you. I preseason is tough.
It is. It's brutal.
You just have to, in the cases of, if you're not betting the number, right, you're not going to the global market, penny, what have you, and you're trying to find something, I think it's just a matter of just looking at backups, right? Like, okay, which quarterback is going to play the most? Because that guy's most likely going to influence the game the most.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I would have gone under last night on the total had I had any action on that game, and it went over.
Yep.
So I'm glad I stayed away.
Harry, I think you might have, going over to the AFC side of things, an interesting NFL future. Can you tell us about it? Yeah,
I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers in sort of a transition year. Big Ben Roethlisberger was a shell of himself last season. Total short passing game. Couldn't get the ball down the field, but they still managed to make the playoffs, and it's pretty incredible, and a credit to Mike Tomlin, who has at least 8 wins in each of his 15 seasons. They managed to go 9-7-1 last year. Now it's a transition. Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, the first round pick out of Pitt, will battle for the quarterback position. I'm not sure if it's going to be Trubisky to start. At some point, you'll probably see Pickett. But I think there's going to be some turnover issues with either one of these guys at the helm. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster as well. They're in a tough division, starting off with Cincinnati. Cleveland's in a little bit of a flux with their quarterback, but they're a talented team. And, of course, the Baltimore Ravens. They got 9 road games. Now, everybody's making a case for the over in wins because they play 9 road games, and all of them happen to be in the Eastern time zone. I've heard so much about this. Well, they're not facing the clock. They're facing these teams. Okay, I don't care where they play them. I mean, these guys fly first class anyway. So that doesn't really shade me at all. They're playing the AFC East. They got to go to Buffalo and Miami, who are 2 really good teams. I expect Miami to be pretty good this year. Of course, they got a stretch from October 9th till their bye that goes at Buffalo, Tampa at home, at Miami, at Philadelphia. That's a tough stretch. And then from November 28th to December 11th, they're at Indy, at Atlanta, and Baltimore at home. I'm taking under. I think this is going to be the first year where this Steeler team goes like 7-10. And, they might figure out who the quarterback is during this year, and hopefully it is Pickett, and they have a future there. But I don't think it's going to start this year. I'm going under, and I'm actually getting plus 100. It's shaded to the over.
I agree with you. I think given quarterback situation, given the rest of their division, and also I don't know if you guys saw the rebrand of Heinz Field. I know that doesn't really affect play, but it just feels like morale is down in Pittsburgh as a whole.
The giant ketchup bottle.
I love that. There's some sort of narrative that you could always find there that's hovering that the average person may miss. And you're right. I love that. See?
Yeah. But I do want to ask, Harry, do you think that the whole Deshaun Watson mess with the Browns can affect that and your stance on the under at all?
Well, I think, at some point they're going to get Deshaun Watson on the field. I don't know if this gets increased from 6 games like the NFL appears to want it to be, but at some point I think he's going to play. But I think Cleveland's good enough to split with Pittsburgh anyway, really, regardless of who's, the starting quarterback. So, no, it really doesn't affect me that much. But one thing that did jump out, I don't know if you saw this. The National Massage Therapist Convention is taking place a block away from the Cleveland Browns Stadium. Now, do you think there was anything to this in Deshaun Watson's decision to say no to Carolina? See you later, Atlanta. I'm going to Cleveland, and I'm going to find me a massage therapist of my own.
See, I think you're looking at it the wrong way. I think initially, if we do some deep dive here, I bet initially this was scheduled to be in Pittsburgh or Baltimore. Mm-hmm. But one of the local mayors or city councilmen, what have you, said, we need this to be in Cleveland to entice Deshaun. I mean, we know that clearly there is something going on with Watson. You don't have that much, at least, to have something settled. Yes, but still the settlement in its own right. So it's not about guilt or innocence. It's just about there is smoke. You can determine how much fire there actually is, but there was smoke coming from it. So I think that would be something we would have to take a look at to see if somebody in Pittsburgh maybe moved this.
You know what? I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. Guys, before we wrap it up for today, are there any other bets that you're watching here? I know you talked about the Wyndham Championship on Wednesday. I'm not sure if you have any updates on that.
Well, I'm still watching my guy Siwoo Kim. He's currently in his second round. Last I looked, he was 2 under for the day, 3 under for the tournament, which would make the cut. I mean, really at this point, you're just trying to get somewhere around 3 or 4 under par, make the cut, make the weekend, and make a move on Saturday or Sunday. But nothing new. I'm worried about Webb Simpson, who I know a lot of people took and put in their DFS lineups because he owns this golf course. He was 1 over yesterday, plays in the afternoon today, so he had the benefit of fresh greens in the morning and no wind and shot 1 over par. A lot of people could be bemoaning that choice come about 6 o'clock tonight.
Wow.
Right.
I got eyes still on CT Pan, but I'll let Harry carry.
Oh, he's playing well today.
He is playing well.
Yeah.
I want to just leave you with one quick thought here, because Devin brought up the Cowboys winning the division. Harry brought up time zones, times, and thinking, well, that doesn't matter. I wanted to save this, but I can't help myself because both of you I think are bookending this thing. Take Dallas in the points week 1. Go ahead. They're +2 right now. I know that's under a key number, right? They're at Tampa Bay. That's not going to move to 3 by the time this kicks off. It's probably going to stay at 2, maybe budge a half a point. So you're not going to lose anything by jumping in. Look at this. Brady is 2-8 against the spread in regular season night games. He's getting older. All right. The time, the clock of this guy goes to bed at like 9:30 at night. That's part of his regiment, right? So take advantage week 1 of him. Harry's laughing, but I'm telling you, this is real life shit here.
No.
Take advantage of it.
Love it.
I'm just trying to imagine Tom Brady's falling asleep on the bench on the third quarter.
No,
it's past his bedtime.
Gotta get back out there. Wake up. You think he has somebody? You think he pays some kid to like walk
probably wakes him up with like a vegan smoothie or whatever he eats, strawberries.
TB12, man.
Right. I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. Devin, you think that comes with just eating smoothies? No, it's sleep. It's rest. They always tell you 8 hours minimum. This guy's in bed at 7 o'clock at night.
I believe it. And I love the mindset there. All right, Harry Mays, Eytan Shander, that does it for this Friday edition of Philly Voice Sports Bets. Until next week.
See you.